So today I wanted to make a quick tutorial on how to install an alternative impact narrow front end to replace the stock A-arms. They handle a lot better, and I'm not affiliated with Alternative Impact or anything, but we've had like somewhere around 15 kits on between myself and the people I ride with, and we've bent one A-arm in all the kits, and they handle great. You lose weight, and just wanted to do a how-to because I haven't seen too many instructions on how to do it. So to get started, you want to start with your machine down on the ground, so the angle of these tie rods, you can kind of fit the wrench in there. If it's picked up in the air, it's all bound up and you can't fit a wrench in to get the tie rod ends separated. So you start with the bottom, or start with it down on the ground, then you start with the bottom end of the tie rod end just to get it loose, and then once it's up in the air, then you can disconnect the upper and lower A-arm and then just get the ski and the spindle off, and then just set them off to the side. So then once you have the skis set off to the side, it makes it super easy access to remove the A-arms, just 2 bolts on each side, on the upper and the lower. The one on the bottom, it's a long bolt that goes through this A-arm all the way through into this A-arm. So it goes through, there's just one at the very front, so that's kind of long. A little awkward to get at, but not too bad. Also you need to disconnect just the bottom of the shock on each side. Leave the top bolt on, you don't need to remove that. And then that's also a good time to remove the sway bar, which is super easy to come out. If you want to leave it on, that's fine. Alternative Impact has tabs for that just to mount up to the new A-arms, but I don't use a sway bar, so I just take it off, save a pound or two. So this install will work for any 2011 through 2019 Pro RMK, but one of the only differences between like the Axys and any of the 11 through 15 Pros is that there's little circlip retainers. You reuse these on the Alternative Impact A-arms, and there's a circlip that holds them on all the Axys sleds, but not on any of the Pros. So that's kind of one added step on the Axys, but you got to remove these circlips on the upper and the lower A-arms and then insert them into the Alternative Impact ones. Also, one thing I do is put some grease on the inside of these bushings. I don't know if you're supposed to do that, but sometimes they squeak, and if you're OCD, it'll drive you nuts. So I just put some grease on the insides of those, and it seems to fix that. So then next, once you have the circlips on all of these, and you have, I don't even know what they're called, but once you get these replaced onto the Alternative Impact A-arms, then you can slowly install, the bottom first, I think. Don't do what I did and forget to put this little boot on the tie rods. It's nice to get that on first, because otherwise you have to take them back apart, and then you got less room to work with once these are all on. Yeah, so we're going to start putting it back together. So one other pointer for the hind joints, which look like this, they thread into your lower A-arm and upper A-arm, but the lower one is the one that gets bent if you hit something super hard, which these are 20 bucks, which you'd rather bend these than, a $200 A-arm. So pretty good idea on their part when they built this. But one little tip, I like to cut a groove in the back of this. So just a slot metal bandsaw, or even just a, I don't know, I think metal bandsaw works best, just so you can get a flat screwdriver in there. So if you do break them off, I carry a couple extra in the woods, but if you break one of these or bend it really bad and you hit a rock, then all you need is a flat screwdriver, because we've had them shear off, right at the base of the A-arm. It's really hard to get a hold of them. So if you make a little slot in there for a flat screwdriver, you can fix them in like 5-10 minutes in the field. It's not too bad. So that's one thing we do, is I'm going to do that real quick and then put these on. So then at this point you're good to put your skis on. So once you got these hind joints on, the upper and the lower one, it'll take some adjusting to get your camber set, but just get it, I have it like 4 threads out or so, and I'm sure that'll change quite a bit, top and bottom, but you can't really check it until you put your skis on. So then the last step, once you got everything attached, and other than tie rods, run a string down the edge of the track and then do an alignment on the skis. You want to get your bars straight first and then take measurements off the inside of the ski at the same points, on each ski. And I like to have it towed in a little bit, a 1/4 inch or so, but that's probably personal preference as well. And then double check, that your bars are straight the whole time, so your skis aren't straight, and your bars are turned. And then you're about ready to put the rubber boots on and double check, make sure everything's tight. So I finished doing the alignment. I have both of my skis towed in about a 1/4 inch apiece. Now it's good to put these back on before we tighten everything up, just to make sure, you know, look, it's kind of hard to get back in here, so it's good to double check that your tie rods are good and tight, everything looks good in there. You should be able to reuse these little push pins as well. Then once we put these rubber boots back on, it's good to double check and make sure that everything's tight, because one time my buddy Derek, I told him, oh, I put a bunch of those alternative impact kits on. Got it down, I'll help you. And I helped him and forgot to tighten up some stuff on my side. And needless to say, it didn't go very far with both skis on the snowmobile. Sorry, Derek. But yeah, so tighten everything down, double, triple check, and that about wraps it up. It'll handle a lot better, it's narrower. Weight savings, it's barely lighter than stock. I mean, it's ounces lighter than the Axys A-arms. I'm sure it's lighter than the Pro A-arms, I'm not sure on that. Sway bar is 1 pound and 11 ounces, I weighed that. So it's not any big weight gains, but the handling is much better. And the durability, you know, they're tough, like I said. If you hit stuff, normally just bend that hind joint, you can fix it in 10 minutes for 20 bucks. Compared to a whole A-arm, which gets spendy and takes a long time, and most of the time you don't carry an extra A-arm in your pack. So yeah, I love these things. I'll keep running them, and if you don't have any questions or anything, just let me know and I'd be glad to help.